Hi everyone, it's Tamara here with another card making tutorial. I was previously asked by someone to give a tutorial on using digital stamps. I'm sorry it's taken me so long. I was a little bit daunted by doing this. I am not a very good person in relation to computers, but I'm going to just show you how I create my digital scenes using the computer. When I first started out card making, I really shied away from digital stamps, which I think a lot of people do. But with encouragement from Natalie, who actually creates the stamps for Wandering Rabbit, she really encouraged me to try some digital stamps, and since then I have never looked back. So as I said, I'm not really great with computers, as you can see by my opening sequence here. I just created this really quickly because I had no idea how to create a starting screen for this type of tutorial. So I hope you kind of bear with me, and I hope that how I create my digital scenes will help you in relation to how you create yours, but it may be very different from what other crafters do. So maybe have a look around and see if there's other ways that you like, or if my technique works for you. So I use a Word document to create my panels. So I just have one that's set up on my desktop, which I use whenever I'm creating a panel for the front of a card. So I also use this for setting out scenes, but also just for if I'm just going to be printing out just an image itself, because I want to make sure that the image that I'm printing is going to correlate with the size of the actual rectangle, circle, square, whatever you might be using for the front panel of your card. You just want to make sure that your image is sized up correctly to match the size that you're using. So what I will initially do is insert an actual shape and put in the measurements to be the measurements of the actual panel that I'm going to be cutting out. So you just go up to the insert button up on the top left hand corner and click on that, and then we're just going to shapes. And this, most of the time I just use rectangle, so I'm just going to click on the rectangle shape, and that's going to have that panel in there. So you just need to click on any spot on your screen, and then we're going to format that size. So once that's you've got your text box or your rectangle or square on there, you're going to go over to the right hand side where you've got the size. So mine is in centimeters because I'm in Australia. So I'm going to make my panel for this particular card 14 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So you just work out whatever size suits you in the program that you're using. And then we'll do 10 centimeters, and that creates the front panel exactly the size that I'm wanting. Now, because I use A4 pieces of Copic XPress It and I don't like to waste it, I'm just going to move this panel over to one side, and that way I'm able to use the other sections of that Copic XPress It for other stamping that I might be doing, or creating other panels if you wanted to do a multiple panel printing. So now we just need to get rid of the actual blue because it always comes up with a fill. So you can either right click and put no fill, or you can go back into that shape format where we did the sizing, and then you can see shape fill, which I'll click on now. So you go up and click on your shape fill, and again just click on the no fill, so that just leaves a nice rectangle exactly sized to the panel that you're wanting to create. So now that we've got that fill, now we can organize just to either leave it this way, or if you're wanting to create kind of like a top folding card, you just need to click on this little turn bar up the top here, so you can see that little kind of arrow that kind of is in round, and you can just then click on it, move it across, and that way you've got a long kind of scene. But we're going to be doing a just a straight up and down scene for this particular card that we're doing today. So we'll pop that back in the spot that we want, and that way you can then print something else down the bottom of that Copic XPress It once we've printed this out. So when all the dots are around the outside of that rectangle, you can then move it to whatever position you're wanting on that panel. So now we're going to insert the images for this particular card that we're going to make. Now, unlike traditional card making, which you normally will do whatever image is going to be at the forefront first, then mask it, and then build your way back, with doing it digitally, you just actually need to do it the other way. So I'm just now going to insert a picture. And obviously I've got all my pictures loaded onto my computer, but if you've got it somewhere else, like on a dongle or something like that, you would just click on that link. So I'm just going in, and I'm actually going to be using spring cleaning from Wandering Rabbit today to create our scene. So you can see all the images that come in this particular set in this actual folder that I've created in my computer. So just scrolling through the images, I'm just trying to work out which of these cute little guys that I'm wanting to use on my card. I'm tossing up kind of between scatter and bits, but in the end I do choose scatter. So you just kind of can go up and down scrolling through your images, working out what you want to actually use, and then you can just click on whatever you like and it will insert it onto your into your computer panel that we're creating. So I'm thinking about Blitz, but as I said, you just click over with your mouse and just click on the image that you want. Give that a click, and that will automatically put it into your computer. Now you just want to click this little layout options button on the right hand side, and you want to go always for in front of text. That's why I like to use it with the image at the back first, and then everything else will be in front of text, so we'll go over the top of this image. So I'm just lining him up. So I just reduced him down into the size that I'm wanting. And once I'm happy with where he's situated, I'm just going to go back up to the insert button and then click on our pictures again and this device. And I'm going to pop the washing basket in front of him. So it looks like he's actually sitting inside the washing basket. So again, it comes up quite big. So we're just going to click on that layout options and in front of text. Click that again. So that will put it in front of him, and then we just need to reduce that size down to what we're wanting. So that looks a little bit big, so we might just move that again. So we're just going to move that. Now, if you do need to move the image behind, you will need to move the image in front sometimes. So you just want to click on, so all those circles are around the rectangle of the image that you're dealing with. So you can see when I clicked on the basket, all the dots came around that image. So I'm just lining that up so that looks like he's in that basket of clothing. And now I want to make sure that that's lined up where I'm wanting, centered in the middle of my panel. So you can see that I've just clicked on the washing basket and I'm trying to click on little scatter. And just going to just make sure that's all lined up. So you can just work it back and forth until you get it located in the exact position that you're wanting. Now I'm going to insert another thing. I want a little sock, so when it does look like he's popped out. So I'm clicking on the insert button again, the pictures, and I'm going to click on the large sock that comes with that. Again, it will, once you click on it, it will just come up onto that screen and it will come up quite big, and see how it's set behind. So we want to click that layout options in front of text again, and you'll see that automatically moves to the front. Then we're going to reduce that size down and we're going to work that. Now I'm going to turn this around so you can see that little circular arrow up the top, and we're just going to turn that around to whatever position that we're wanting. So I'm just going to move that over to him, see if that's lined up, but I want it angled a little bit more. So I'm just working out exactly where I'm wanting it. So it does need to be angled. So you can see I'm moving that again just by holding that over that circular arrow, reducing that size down and just moving that into the correct position. Just making sure we get that lined up. And then just click over to the right hand side if you want to unclick from the image that you've got. So now you can see I clicked on scatter and just moved him around a little bit, and then click on the sock so we can adjust that angle, moving that across and just trying to work out. So you just work out what's going to be best for your layout. Just moving that. Then I click to the right to take that off, that image. And now I'm just going to move that over because it's not quite centered where I'm wanting. So I've clicked on the basket so you can see all those dots come around that. I'm just going to move that sock out of the way because I want to click on, see how that clicked on the basket. So you just want to make sure, so making sure I've got that the right spot again. Click over to the side and make sure I'm clicking on little scatter. Just moving him into position to center that and click onto our sock now. And that automatically moves that onto the top of his head. So now I'm happy with that positioning. Now I want to insert some little pieces that he looks like he's flicking up as he's coming out, doing his little scattering thing of all the dust motes that might come with your washing. So now again we go click on that layout options and in front of text with the text wrapping, just move that down to move that size down and just position that where we're wanting it. So I just want to look like he's just thrown that up into the air, and you can now see that kind of comes partially over the sock and just up on the right hand side. So now I'm happy with that position. We're going to now insert one of the sentiments that come with the set. So there's actually two sets of sentiments that come with this. So we're going to insert picture again from the device, and I'm going to be using sentiments number 2 and double click, and now we want to bring that forward to work out which sentiment we're wanting to use. So we click on that layout options again and the text in front. And now we're going to crop this down because obviously all these sentiments come together, and I'm wanting to use this one that's third from the top. So what I'm going to do is go down the bottom, and then we're going to crop it. So you can see I clicked right click on crop, and then you just go up from this little black line up to just under the sentiment that you're wanting to use. Click to the right, which will remove all of those bottom sentiments. And then we're going to click on those sentiments again, and we just want to get rid of the top ones. So I click on crop, and then that black line again, just drag that down. So just make sure you're on top of that and drag it down to the top of where the sentiment you're wanting to use, and click to the right, and then you've just got the sentiment that you're wanting. So now we click on it to get all those little dots so we can resize it to the size we want. And then because it's in front, we can move that to the position that we're wanting. And we need to, again, resize that down so that it's nice and centered inside our little panel. Just move that up a little bit, click to the right, and make sure we're happy with the position once we've got that lined up. So click to the right, and that takes that on. And I'm pretty happy with that position. So that is pretty much our scene ready to go. Now the last thing we have to do is get rid of that outside box. So you need to click on it so all those circles come around it again, and then you can just delete that. Because a lot of the times when I first started, I kept on forgetting to do that, and then it would print that rectangle around the outside, which is not what we're wanting. So you've got to make sure you delete that rectangle box. Now I ran this through my printer, and this is the actual printed out version of what we just created on our computer. So you could do another one down the bottom, or just save this Copic XPress It for another project that you might be actually stamping them out with. So you can see how he's kind of just tucked behind that basket of laundry with that sock on his head, all created just using your computer. So this is the finished scene cut out with the die, my rectangle stitch die that I had the measurements for when we actually worked out our panel size. So I will be doing a Copic colouring of this later down the track, but I just wanted to show you how this scene came together. As I said, make sure you always get your back image on first if you're going to do it the same way that I create my scenes, and that way you'll always make sure that you get everything in the perfect position when creating your scenes. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial, and if you have any questions or if I haven't explained something quite well enough, please let me know and I'd be happy to give you a bit more information, or I might have to do like another tutorial if I haven't explained it well enough. But thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.